Hello, welcome back to another episode of Tinker Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we get together and we play with new technology. My name is Juliana, and I'm live streaming from New York City. It is 8 p.m. now. This happens every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. EST. So in the last stream, it was a little bit special. Instead of like a 1 hour stream, it ended up being like 2 hours, and we were able to vibe code a much more substantial application. And so we called it Marie Kondo email app. I'll go into this. So usually for our streams, we like to go into new technology, and that may mean whatever is trending and new. Hi, Kukoba. Hi. Let me show you on stream. Welcome. So usually we look at new technology that's trending or new. We also go into vibe coding new technology and then deploying it together. In the last stream, so to give everybody a little reminder, it was called the Marie Kondo app. And I think what I've been calling it is like the Marie Kondo for your emails, what brings joy to your emails. So the problem I'm trying to solve is that I have 9,000 emails in my inbox, and I need something to programmatically clean it and set it aside. Like, these are trash, this is keep, this is triage, like figure out what to do with it. And so I don't have time to go through 9,000 emails. Hi, Mr. Block. I don't have time to go through 9,000 emails. I don't think you guys do either. Like, there's just endless spam. So I wanted a tool that will go in, take a look at all of my emails and figure out which ones shouldn't be there and unsubscribe it for me. So in the last stream, we spent actually 1.5 hours. I counted it. If you guys were not there at the last stream, I spent 1.5 hours vibe coding this app, and we actually got it to a pretty decent state. So that's why in today's stream, I'm not going to stream in like 2 hours. I'm just going to do 1 hour today because I'm tired, I'm sleepy, but God damn it, I want to deploy this application. So let me take you into my screen and let's get started. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to deploy it. And if I have extra time at the end, maybe we can go into like templating it and like hosting it so we can start selling it. That's the whole idea. I want to get this app into people's hands so they can play with it. And I want to be able to make money from it. That is the goal. And I think I'm going to spend the next couple of streams trying to do this. And we will probably go into deploying it, templating it. Maybe I was thinking of exploring Instagram ads. Like, if you guys had, hey, Richard, have you ever touched like Instagram ads? I have no idea how to handle Instagram ads. I use Instagram and I see ads. But imagine if I could advertise my app in an ad. So anyway, these are just ideas in the future for at least next week's Tuesday and Thursday. Let me bring you into my screen. Here we are. So, bam. Today, we're going to deploy the Marie Kondo app. And we're going to, if we have time, maybe templatize it, which means Dockerize it, right? And then also list it. Yeah, we're going to Dockerize it and list on NodeOps Marketplace. And maybe not today, but maybe next time. Let me just say next time. We can go into like Instagram ads. I'm just trying to think of ways to like promote my app if we actually make something work and get it into the hands of people. I know, right? It would be nice. It would be nice, Richard. How do I... Let me swap this around. There. I know. That's the whole plan, because we need to become entrepreneurs here. So let me bring you into what we built last time. Oh, by the way, when I deploy it, I'll be using Claude Code, and we're going to be using NodeOps Skill. All right. So let me show you the app that we vibe coded. In case you were not here last time, we created this. I know it looks like nothing crazy, but this app actually works. The hardest part of creating it was actually the Google OAuth. So that's the part where I click login with Gmail, and then I actually log in with my Gmail. And so you see, well, first the app's not verified, so you have to click continue. And once you get in, you're now using my Marie Kondo app using OAuth, and it gives it access into my email. Once you give it access and permission with my email, now you can hit scan email, and it runs the scan. It goes, this is one of my fake accounts, one of my fake emails. And it scans through my emails, and it does a whole bunch of data. So this is not like the final code. Obviously, we can go back into Claude Code and we can make some changes, make it dark mode or grab some extra data from it, make it so I can unsubscribe and stuff. Right now, it's just, it doesn't have all the features I want for sure. But for the most part, my data is there. I can, at the very least, I'm able to triage it, label it, and then we can perform stuff on top of it. But there's some exciting stuff I've been learning. Let me take you on a tangent real quick. I was playing with this tool today. It's called, this came out like yesterday. It's called Google Workplace CLI. Hey Kanzi, welcome back. Happy to see you. There's this new tool that came out like I think yesterday by Google Workplace CLI. We're not going to go through this today because I'm making content about it for the next couple of days. But basically, Google came out with this CLI tool, and it has like, let me open the GitHub. And it has 11,000 stars and 367 forks. And what it does is like it's designed for humans and AI agents to dynamically use Google. So I was playing around with it. It's actually like, it's so cool. It's super easy. You just npm install it, and then you kind of like do your authentication, just like what I was doing yesterday, a couple days ago with OAuth. After you do that part, then you can use these commands to create files. You can create Google Drives, you can create spreadsheets with this one command. You can create all this kind of stuff. You can even send emails. Like your AI agent can send emails. Your AI agent can now create spreadsheets and read emails. So I was thinking, once I create a tutorial and I fully understand this tool, I was thinking of bringing it into the Marie Kondo app. This is my tangent, by the way, if you guys are interested. Hi, Itachi. We can definitely spend more time on this. I'm still learning it though. But I wanted to structure it today. So yeah, it's made for humans, for AI agents. And if you guys are interested, go ahead and check it out. It's called Google Workplace CLI. And basically I was just running it from directly in my terminal. Okay, anyway, tangent over. Let me close that and go back to what I was talking about. All right, so Marie Kondo works for the most part. It is pretty functional. Now I can deploy it. How am I going to deploy it? I want to bring up NodeOps skills. So you know how, I don't know if you heard in the internet, like skills has been the next big thing. Like everyone's trying to figure out how to use skills. It makes sense, you know, how to build MCPs. And yeah, basically it's a model that's working right now and people are building on top of it. They've created this framework and you can create and add skills. So NodeOps has its own, and this is called CreateOS. And it works through Claude Code. I've done it with Cursor as well, but you can use it with Claude Code, and it runs off of an API key. So we're going to be using this one to deploy my Marie Kondo app, which is sitting right, where is it? Right here. Cool. So I haven't touched it since last time. We're still looking at Claude Code over here. All of these prompts, everything for that hour and a half I was prompting, in the end, it ended up costing me about $5 in API keys, just in case if you were curious. Let me show you how much it cost me. I haven't used it since. Where is it? Claude API keys. There it is. Oh, okay. Well, $7.26 is about how much I've used to make this app so far. So I would say factor that in when you're using Claude Code. But we're about to use more because I'm about to use skills to deploy it. Yeah. Any questions, just type it into the chat and I will answer as it comes, as we go. Okay, cool, let's get started. So yeah, it says here, NodeOps skills. No questions for now. Thank you, Kukoba. Thank you for responding. AI agent skills for the NodeOps ecosystem works with Claude Code, Cursor, Windsor, 40 plus other AI coding skills. So thanks, Eddie. And so to install, you just copy this line over here, npx skills, you copy that, and then bring that into Cursor or Claude Code. Yeah, we will need an API key after some time. And there, okay. So I guess we just paste. I'm just gonna type, hey Claude, I want to install the CreateOS skill. And then I'm gonna paste this command right there. All right, it's asking me, oh, let me make this bigger. It's asking me, do I want to proceed? Yes. You can say there's 3 options here. Yes, yes, don't ask me again, and no. We can just say yes, don't ask me again. Okay, it says it's running. Press enter to confirm. So let's hit enter. It looks like it's simultaneously still running some code from last time. Something about an email error. So it's still editing code. Or just funky. Maybe I should have started with a fresh Claude. Hey, Grace. What would a Kondo app v2 look like if the community started contributing ideas? That is such a good question. You guys tell me, like, what would Marie Kondo app v2 look like if you guys wanted to contribute? I can absolutely push this up. I think part of deploying it is that we should push it up and then make this open source. My bare minimum for this app is for it to be able to tell me which ones to delete, which ones to keep, which ones to unsubscribe to. That's it. Those 3 functions. I'll be very happy if it can do these 3. Okay, while this is running, I'm going to go ahead and create the new GitHub for Marie Kondo. New repo. Okay, while that's going, all right. And I'm also going to create a file called .gitignore. And then inside that file, I'll make sure that I never, ever, ever push up my node modules. Perfect. That looks good. Oh, and we don't want to push up our client secrets either, so be careful about that. I have some sensitive passwords here. This client secret.json. Hey Sunday. What's one feature you wish CreateOS had that would make the Kondo app even better? It's an interesting question. The Kondo app is my idea that we vibe coded together in the last stream. CreateOS is the platform that will be deploying it and hopefully hosting our template very soon. I think I don't have any feedback on how CreateOS could be better. I'm just about to make a git push so that this will now be open source. So I'm pushing up my envs, git ignore, markdown files. What is that? Is that my client secret? Dang it. Rename. All right. Let's do another git status. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to push this all up, git add all, git commit. We'll call this Marie Kondo v1. All right, so that's up. You guys can go ahead and go into my repository and you should see the entire application, Marie Kondo email. And very easy, you just npm install, npm run. And you should have the entire application. You just have to pre-fill it with your .env example. And remember, we had to generate that ourselves using Google OAuth. Well, now that it's open source, you guys can totally make a pull request. And use Claude Code. All right, let's go back and see if NodeOps has installed its skill. Hey, Benjamin. What part of the build process would normally take weeks but CreateOS reduced to minutes? I would say definitely the deploy process. Maybe not weeks, but definitely a week for sure, like about a week. If we wanted to deploy something that was replicable, that was streamlined, and you wanted to be able to like in the past, it would take time to set up that kind of like CI/CD pipeline. But with NodeOps, this application, as soon as I deploy it to CreateOS, once I git push, I make another git push, let's say in the future with a new feature, it would just automatically deploy and it would reflect in my app right away. I would also add CreateOS. If you guys have not played with it, it also has a vibe coding part. So there's a vibe coding portion, there's a deploy portion, and there is a marketplace portion. The marketplace portion is where your income and revenue would come in if you're a creator. Or you can purchase like applications that someone else has like open source to you. Not open source, but they've placed it like for sale. Yeah. I think that part is unique. I don't know any other platform that does all three. And I can't imagine if I were to do something like that, it would definitely take, at least a week. String together different applications to do the three things I just mentioned. Oh, good question. can you guys even see these? How do I switch this? Okay, perfect. Hey Effion, what was the wow moment while rebuilding the Kondo app where you realized CreateOS could actually handle it? You guys are just killing it with the questions tonight. We're about to do it. We're about to deploy with CreateOS. That's what we're doing. That's the wow moment. Okay. Do you have the CreateOS skill? Hey Ime, welcome. Happy to have you here too. Okay. All right, we did it. We have the skill. So it says, yes, the CreateOS skill has been successfully installed. It was installed in Symlinked here. So under agents, skill, and CreateOS. So yeah, there's a Python and deploy script. It says, how do we use it? Do /CreateOS, and you can say use CreateOS to create a new project or run the CreateOS skill. Cool. All right, let's try it. All right. Can you use CreateOS to deploy my project? Let's see if this actually works. Okay, it looks like it's doing it. It's running the deploy script. By the time we're done, if this is successful, I should have a link. And once I have a link, I can share it. Oh, Kanzi's got an idea. What you got? To add features to the app, I love to add an AI-powered quick drafts. Oh, yeah. If the app is scanning emails, it should help the user respond like a no thanks or one tap unsubscribe. Exactly. It should be able to do that. It should be able to draft up emails for me and send it. The tool I'm playing with, the Workplace CLI, does have that feature to at least handle drafts. But that's a really good idea. What does it say? Okay. Oh, this is what it's saying. It says, I can help you deploy the Marie Kondo email app. To use CreateOS, you need the API key, duh, GitHub repository with your code, we got it. Oh, and it says it noticed my project is not in GitHub yet. It is in GitHub, but we just did it. Okay, but it still needs the API key. Okay, so let's say no to this because I want to tell it that, yes, check again. It's a GitHub repository now. And then I'm also, before I send this off, I'm going to make the API key. So to make the API key, just go straight to CreateOS. log in. Let's use this account. Yep, this one. This one's connected to my GitHub, Juliana Peace. So you come down here. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Maybe I went too fast. I logged in, and down on the bottom, I click on the gear icon. And so I can see that I'm connected to my GitHub, Juliana Peace, and then I come down to API keys, and I go ahead and create an API key. So I'm going to name this one Claude Code for Marie Kondo app. And I'll set this to expire 2 months from now. And hit create key. So that's my key. I'm going to copy it. And this is super easy. All I do is paste it right into Claude Code. I'm going to say, here's my API key. Paste. Bam. Enter. All right, what you guys got? Hey, John. As a non-dev joins today's session, how far could they get following the build? What I'm doing now? I would say it would be difficult. I would say you can probably get far with Claude Code because you're still just using LLMs to create code. But since everything's in the terminal, I think it can be a little bit confusing, especially just now when it asked me, this needs to be a GitHub repo. You have to know what GitHub is. So you still need to be a little bit technical. But yeah, as a non-developer, it's totally feasible for you to create apps these days. I would just suggest something like maybe using CreateOS as a vibe coding part, which is when you just it's not in the terminal like this. It is direct from the UI. So as soon as you type in a prompt, you can see the preview of your app, like right there. You don't have to look at the terminal. Hi, phone. Hi, Dancy. Okay. What is it saying? Oh, Remy's saying it would be difficult as a non-dev, to be honest. Yeah, it would be difficult to use Claude Code as a non-dev, I think. But could you vibe code an app as a non-dev? Absolutely, yes. You don't have to be traditionally trained in software development as a non-dev. That would be cool if we could rank out some of the tools, ranking from easiest to least easy. Let me just go on a quick tangent. Why not? All right. So ranking from easiest to least easy to hardest. Vibe coding as a non-dev. So I would say starting from easiest, I would say use CreateOS, the vibe coding portion. And this is not directly from top to bottom, but V0 when it was open, Lovable if it's around, and what was the other one? There's so many of them, but these are the easiest in the beginning. And if you want to be a little bit more difficult with it, I would use Cursor or Windsurf. These are directly from inside the terminal, and then Claude Code after. And let's see, I think that's a good start. And then using Claude Code and Cursor, we can now drill into deeper things. So at this stage, if you're using something like Claude Code and Cursor, you can now use MCP and skills, which is the unknown right now. This is the part that's we're riding on the edges of technology right here. There's a whole influx of companies coming out with skills and tools and command line open source code. Yeah, definitely check out Lovable. Yep. They've all got their own pros and cons. They've got a free tier that you can try it out, but if you want anything more difficult, you have to pay for it. But sometimes it's worth it if you just want to like vibe code something out. So for something quickly. These are just, but these are, if you're vibe coding something like generic, this will be good for general apps. But there are definitely specific apps if you wanted to build like something for video, you know? If you wanted, like, for example, I was playing with something called, what is it called? Remotion. And this was cool. This is not something for beginners, but basically it is a piece of code where you can generate videos. Just like you see this like line that's like crawling across, that's programmatically generated. You give it some asset, like an image, like, oh, here's like a line drawing, and then you tell it, take the line drawing and then make it move across like a snake, and it will generate a video using your prompt. And so you can take this and give it to your AI agent, and now your AI agent can create videos like this. And yeah, this is, it just goes like we're just scratching the surface of what you're able to do. But we can absolutely deep dive. If you wanted to do something like audio generation or something, you know, there's like different stuff for that too. But yeah, I think this is a good beginner list. Yeah, easiest way is CreateOS, I think, is one of the easier ones. I'll show you real quick what it's like to use CreateOS. Because here, this is CreateOS. Top left, you click Create, and you type in here what you want. Like, let's say, what do you want to build? What do you want to build? Foam I'm Expeater. Let's say you want to check out, I don't know, you know, type in like, oh, like there's examples here, like a weather app. I'm going to click weather app. So it comes with a prompt, weather app. You select the AI model that you want. By default, it uses Haiku, but the further down it goes, the more tokens it uses. So maybe Opus is a heavier one. And then you just send it off and it will generate this app for you. So it's doing it. Once the app is generated, you'll see it on the right over here in the white space. And then you can click up here to deploy. Hi, Lucas. I'm so glad you showed me Remotion. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks really cool. Kokoba is asking, is there a way to show your build into a mobile app suitable for mobile? Yeah, absolutely. It's just as simple as telling your LLM, hey, can you make my app mobile friendly? Look, as you're typing in the prompt, say, make it mobile friendly first and then desktop second. So that way when it's like styling your app, it will think about what it looks like mobile friendly first, and then like it will expand out as a desktop. It just depends on what you want. So yeah. Okay. We'll come back to this, I think. Oh, enjoy. Thanks, Kanzi. Thank you, Kokoba. Oh, yep. Okay, so we've got some code back. Cool, and then here's the preview. Nice. And now I can deploy. So we just vibe coded it using this prompt, and now I have a weather app. If I click deploy over here, now it's live, and I can send you guys the link. You can further like change this app by typing into here, like any changes you need. Yeah, and here's what it looked like on mobile. So yeah, this is one of the easier ones if you want to vibe code a general app. Yeah, give it a try. If you're still here. Kind of went on a tangent. Let me go back to deploying. Here we are. Looks like it's a little confused right now, so I'm going to close this and I'm going to start a new Claude Code instance. So to start a new Claude Code instance, I started a new terminal. And I'm just going to type in Claude. So that would activate an instance of Claude Code. I'm using Sonnet 4.5. And we're going to try this again. I'm going to say, can you use the CreateOS skill to deploy this app? Yep. Okay, now it knows what it's doing. It says use skill CreateOS, and here's some instructions on what it's able to do. Do I want to proceed? Yes. I'm also going to hit yes here. Oh, it doesn't have the API key yet. There it is. Okay. So it asks, how would you like to deploy this app to CreateOS? And I have the option. I can connect to GitHub or I have a CreateOS API key. I will probably use option 1. Yeah, I'm okay either, option 1 or 2. Let's do 1, even though it's not recommended. If it doesn't work, I wonder if I can go back to option 2. Okay. Now that's my API key. It's just going. Hope it works. What's this? Creating deploy now.python. Yep, taking my API key, running the script to do so, and then what happened? Okay, it created a script to deploy and asked me, am I allowed to run it? Yes, you are allowed to run it. Option 2. Let's see what happens. And don't ask me again. Go. Oh, finally, it's creating a CreateOS project. I'm just gonna keep hitting yes. Interesting. I'm watching the logs as it runs, and what's happening is that this CreateOS is generating a Python script to deploy, and then as the deploy fails, it will go back and edit the script and run it again. I mean, this part is just like a whole lot of waiting. Oh, no way, I think it's done. Okay, deployment successful. Your app is successfully deployed to CreateOS. Yay! There's my URL, my project ID, dashboard, port 3000 with the installation command. Oh, my secrets. And some instructions on how to run it. That's cool. Let's check it out. No way. Let me check out CreateOS. Let me check my projects. Oh, it's still building. That's why. It's still building. But it's there. It's on the left. Hey, gamer boy. Good morning to you too, wherever you are. Kanzi said, which is the easiest, a deployment with API keys or a GitHub and then CreateOS? Just now I did API key. I haven't tried it using GitHub through Claude Code. I'm curious which one's easier because that one was recommended. I went for API key instead. But maybe we can try it again. We can just deploy again. Why not? Give it another name. If we have time. I got 15 more minutes left. But yeah, it is still building. Once it's here, it's using AI to build. It's reading from the logs, it's reading from the code. And that's the cool part is that like back in the day when you used to do deployments, you had to give your code like the exact commands to build. All the environment variables, all the scripts, if you had some scripts to pre-run, install any prerequisites for your environment, you know. For this situation, it's really streamlined the entire deployment away from stuff you have to do. It's literally using AI to figure out what code needs to run. Oh yeah. Yeah, GitHub to create OS is kind of the standard way. I'm trying to show a new way here with Claude Code. Usually I just use the UI and deploy from here. Still building. Do you guys have any experience with like standard Linux commands? Like, do you know what these commands are doing? That's a question to you guys. So it's still building. No deployment yet, but it is deploying. We should have an app soon. Oh, okay, so you guys responded. Do you mind throwing more light on it? Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm actually happy to. That's why I asked. So these commands should tell you something. Standard Linux machines or Unix-based machines have this command called group add. Sorry. Oh, it's deployed. Yay. Well, let me finish what I was saying. Group add and -r app users, these are like usernames. So this should tell you that this is running on a Linux environment, right? These are the commands that the AI is using. And it's been pre-programmed to create these users, not users as in human beings, but users as in permissions. So permission-based. So it's running this command, but it's like using concatenation. This is n, means it's like it's running this first command. After it's done, it runs this command, which means user add. It adds as user, to the group app user, whatever. And then n is a third command. Now this is the third command it runs. And this means chown means change owner. Change owner changes the owner from app user to app user or something build arena. So this should tell you, at least on some level, that this is running on a Linux environment. And you can't like SSH into it, but you are at least given like a snippet into what your app is running in. And you can tell which folder it's trying to run it in. Something called /build arena, you know? And this is like not information that you really need when you're a vibe coder, but it's good to know if you're someone who's like wants to understand the container that your app is running in, you know? And this all has to do with like infrastructure. But what's great about CreateOS is that it has taken the complexity of infrastructure away from vibe coders. You don't have to worry about the complexity of like permissions and app users and, like shell codes like this. But anyway, let's go back to the deployment. It's done. So let's visit it. Oh God, no. Why is it down? Bad gateway? No way. Oh, sometimes it takes a second after it's deployed. Let's give it a moment. Oh yeah, I hope you guys found that interesting. I don't know. I have so much information, like little things here and there that sit in my brain. So it looks like it's deployed, but the link is not yet up. Yeah, you can see down here, there's more deployment logs. If you are ever confused, you can just copy some of these logs, put it into another AI, have it explain to you what's going on. There's some build logs too. And let's try one more time. No. What's going on? It says it's deployed, but I don't see if it ran npm start or anything. Okay, I'm not seeing anything that says it specifically failed. Okay, let's try one more time. All right, and if it doesn't work, now here's what I would do to debug. I would go under settings, and under settings, you're able to select build manually or build with AI. And you can actually select the framework. So it's possible that AI could have messed up, and you can select we may have guessed the wrong framework because I didn't see it run the command npm run build, Let's go back to my code. Under package.json, it should be running this build script. So TypeScript. And running this command. Okay. So I'll just try it again. Try build with AI, port 3000, correct. Install, it should be, yes, npm install. Run command, dist server index, correct. Build command, should be this command. What? Maybe I'll leave that empty for now and see what happens. And we'll save changes. So that once I save changes, it should trigger another deployment. Refresh. Can I click create deployment? No. I don't know why that didn't trigger a new build. How do I trigger a new build now? These are not options. All right, the only surefire way I know how to trigger a build is to make a git push. So we can absolutely do that. Let's go make a git push. Let's make one little change. Git status. Git commit. Okay. You know what it is? I think it may be because we deployed with API key and not with the GitHub. I think we're onto something. I think we learned something. We learned the limitation between option A and option B. All right, let's do it. Let's deploy using GitHub. We're going to go back and say, hey, Claude, can you use, I'm not going to say, hey, Claude, I'm going to say, can you use CreateOS to deploy this project? Name it Marie Kondo. Yeah, I think you're right, Kanzi. That's why even when I push, it didn't trigger a new build because it wasn't using GitHub. It was using an API key. So I'm going to call it Marie Kondo v2. Sorry, try to. Name the project Marie Kondo try to. Hopefully this time it gives me the option to use GitHub, and this time I will use GitHub. Oh, can we delete this deployment and try the second one? The reason I don't want to delete it is actually because I am a chaos agent and I want to see what happens if I don't. That's why I gave it a different name in case there was a name clash. It's happened to me before where I tried to deploy something twice and it used the same name it generated, and because it couldn't push to something that had the same name, it just kept trying again and again and again. It was eating my API keys, and so it was like racking up. It was just this infinite loop. I kept hitting yes, 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 and it wouldn't deploy until I figured out that it was because I already had an app with the same name. But now we gave it a different name. So I'm going to see if I can just keep the first build and deploy a second one. I know if we delete the first build, we won't need the name for name change, but chaos agent. We do it live. We see what happens. Even if we mess up. This stream isn't meant to be smooth, really. That's the whole point, is that we mess up and we try new things. Oh, what just happened? Wait, it just deployed again using my API key. Oh my God, so I should have another deployment here. Yes. That means I have to be specific. All right, this time I said, can you use CreateOS and deploy using GitHub repo this time, and name the project Marie Kondo try 3. Bam. Yeah. We're learning. Absolutely. I think this is reality. Sometimes we watch tutorials, and some tutorials, they give you the best case scenario. They don't show you what could happen if it goes wrong. And that's why I like to see everything. Like, what could go wrong? How do we debug it when it goes wrong? Oh, yes, I think it's doing it. Authorize CreateOS GitHub app for your account. Okay. Itachi said, do I have to subscribe to Claude's API before I can use it in my code editor? If you want to use Claude Code the way I'm using it right now, yes, you do need Claude API key. If you don't want to use Claude Code, I'm actually sitting inside Cursor. So Cursor has its own AI agent. So if I open this panel here, this is a whole nother agent that I could do the same thing I'm doing right now. I can literally vibe code, I can push things. This one I pay 20 bucks a month for like the basic plan. And then for Claude Code, I set aside like, it's using an API key and just like deducting from the $25 each time I use it. Yeah. So to answer your question, Itachi, you do need an API key to use Claude Code. Kanzi said, yes, tutorials are specifically meant to show you how to do that thing and not how to run it. Yeah. The worst is when like a tutorial shows me something and then I'm like, oh no, one part of it doesn't work exactly the way you showed me. Absolutely right. Oh, you'll never believe this, Kanzi. This is saying, this is giving me directions on how to do it from the UI. This is ridiculous. This is not working out the way I wanted to. If I wanted to deploy from the UI, I could have, but I wanted to do it through Claude Code. All right, let's check one more time. Did it work? Nope. Let's see if this worked. Nope. Let's do a final deployment using the UI. This time I'm importing from GitHub and let's see what happens. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my code. Maybe it's not CreateOS. So let's go direct from here. I'm going to import my repository. I'm going to say build with AI, calling it Marie Kondo, try 3, master branch, deploy. Wait, I totally forgot I have environment variables. Shoot. Can I add them later? Yes, I can. Now I'm starting to think, like, is it failing because I didn't put my environment variables in? Okay, we're gonna let that build. Hi, Drewski. Oh yeah, you are pretty late. You're like a whole hour late. Where have you been? Kanzi, I'm glad you're having fun. I always say I'm happy to be dumb. But yeah, Itachi, if you're still here, I'm curious what you're trying to build. And then maybe I can better help. Yeah, let's see the outcome. I just want to get this app up, like live. And then I'll be happy. I can sleep tonight. Set alarm, but alarm set me up. That was pesky alarms, you know, they're evil. Still going. What? Wait, I hit refresh and it went away. Oh no, it's still going. Okay. Okay, while that's building, I'm going to go back to the first one, and I think I'm going to add my environment keys just to see if maybe that was it. That was awesome. Did you guys see that? It happened so fast. Okay, story time. Back in the day when I used to do this all the time, I would copy and paste my environment variables, key value, one at a time. And we never had the option to just paste the whole thing. But there's this option here called import from.env. And then I just pasted the entire thing here and it just auto-populated. For the longest time, I was using Vercel for like 5 years. You know, I was not able to do this. So anyway, it's a small bit of pleasure for me. I'm very happy about that. Okay, those are my environment variables. Okay, let me try running manually. And this time I will choose very stressful. Yeah, it was just an annoying chore. It wasn't that stressful, just annoying. This is Express. So if it's Express, what would I put that under? Oh yeah, Drewski. Dude, you can ask me anything. Yeah, I'm all ears. Wait, I have to ask AI, what framework am I using? Because if I'm using Express, then do I classify that under Vanilla JS? Probably. That's why CreateOS tends to compete with long-standing competitors like Vercel. Yeah. Yeah, Vercel is good at what it does, but I think there can be room for improvement, which is why I like CreateOS. I'm going to ask what framework. No, it is using TypeScript. Why does the final URL of any product deployed can't be edited? It's always with NodeOps. Oh, this is a really good question. By default, it is NodeOps, but you can also use your custom domain. Always end with NodeOps. Yeah, by default, it uses our subdomain, but you can also, yeah, I do get you, Drewski. We have this ability to do custom domains. So once you have your app that's like live, you can go under domains, and then you can add a new domain. When you add a new domain, now you can give it like, you know, like julianamay.com. This is a domain that I own with the DNS keys, and you click add domain. Is this it? No, this is not it. Where is it? Settings. Oh no, you're talking about custom domains. Yeah. Environment ID must have a valid URL. Oh, maybe because this one's not up yet. Let me pick a project that's actually up. Like maybe. Oh, let me go back to this one. Okay, we did it. We did it. Marie Kondo's up. But this is not going to work because my environment variables are not in. Yeah. But yeah, we have determined from today's stream that using Claude Code with API key, it was not able to get the project up. But if we use the UI and deployed with GitHub, it worked, even without the environment variables. So because this is up, I should be able to set up a custom domain now. Yeah, yay! I'm really happy you're here, Kanzi. I'm like so happy that someone else is happy with me. Yeah. Let's set up a domain. Right. Okay, here it is. That's why, because it was missing the environment. It wasn't okay. So let's say I give it a custom domain, julianamay.com. I point it towards production, add the domain. Now it's generated the DNS variables. So I just copy this. I go into the domain that I own. And now that every time I go to julianamay.com, it will take me to our deployment, which is here. This is what you're talking about, right, Drewski? Like the email, no, the URL always ends with nodeops.app. Is that what you mean? Absolutely, you can redirect this towards your own custom domain. Yay! I'm really happy. We got one deployment up. Actually, while we're here, I'm going to throw in my environment variables because it was so easy to do. Copy and paste. Confirm. Save. Cool. Any other questions, guys? I think I'm about to end the stream soon because I'm happy we made it. We made it. We learned a lot today. So to cover what happened today, we finally deployed Marie Kondo app, but it didn't happen the way we planned it. Originally, we were going to use Claude Code and do it direct from the terminal using the CreateOS skill. And I've actually used the CreateOS skill to deploy stuff successfully before. So I need to figure out what went wrong. Maybe it's my Marie Kondo app. Maybe there's something that went wrong with maybe how I typed in CreateOS, you know. Sometimes the context switching between like using different Claudes, like when I used the original context of Claude, when I vibe coded it, it was confused and it was still trying to debug the code when I was trying to deploy it. So I had to restart with a new Claude, and then it was able to recognize that I wanted to use a skill to deploy. And then when we finally got it to deploy, it didn't work. So finally, in the end, we had to use the UI to deploy. Even though we ended up with a happy ending, we learned a lot all through this experience. I think for the next stream on Tuesday, let's keep going with it. So I will try and figure out what's going on with the deployment. Maybe we can debug that a little bit. And then we'll also look into, once we can deploy it stably, let's look into templatizing it, Dockerizing it, so now we can put it up for sale. And then we'll work our way towards marketing our app, bringing users, seeing if we can like get people to see our app, try our app. Yeah, it's a lot. Thank you, Richard. But yeah, join me in this journey. We'll do this Tinker Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm also trying new tools. Like I talked about the Google Workspace CLI. And if you guys see a new tool that you think I should check out, share it with me. You know, my Twitter is jnodeops. You can DM me, you can tweet me, send me a GitHub repo, and I can try it live here. Yeah, thank you for joining me for today's stream. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.